Good evening, Holliston, and welcome to the July 18th meeting of the Holliston School Committee. We are meeting remotely only, and though I understand that we are both on streaming on Zoom, and also that HCAT is back up on TV, so hopefully people have been able to find us. Before we begin, I'll read the remote statement pursuant to the Governor's July 16, 2022 Act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, MGL 38, paragraph 20. The Holliston School Committee will be using remote participation for this meeting. The audio of this meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the town's webpage as soon as possible in accordance with keeping of the public informed of actions during this meeting. At this time, a roll call of attendance will be taken. Back. All right. Joe.
Present.
Hillary.
Here.
Dawn.
Yes.
Sarah.
Here.
We have a quorum, and we do expect the other two members, but we will get started now. I didn't see, so we have a consent agenda. I didn't see though. There's note of a gift, but I don't see it in the folder. Am I missing it?
There was one gift. I didn't get it in there. We'll do it next meeting. So.
Okay. And then, okay. So then. So the only other thing too is the executive session minutes are being approved. So let's just do those separate. Let's take those out separately. Let's approve the consent agenda. So I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda, excluding the gift, as well as the June 20th executive session minutes.
Moved by Dawn.
Do I have a second?
Second by Sarah. Sorry.
All right. That requires a roll call vote. Frank, we're voting on the consent agenda. So we'll start with Joe.
Yes.
Hillary.
Yes.
Dawn.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
And Frank.
Yes.
All right, now I'll entertain a motion to approve but not release the minutes from June 20th, 2024.
Moved by Dawn. Second by Sarah.
Okay, Joe.
Yes.
Hillary.
Yes.
Dawn.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Frank.
Yes.
All right. So let's just talk quickly about the FAQ before and while we wait for Cynthia. Has anyone heard from her? Right, did someone text her? Yeah. So Hillary put together an updated FAQ. I sent some edits. I don't know if anyone has anything they want to sort of talk about that they want to cover within that. But I think that it was good. I supplied a decent number of changes, but I do think that we want to have made some more thought on some of it. And so I was thinking that maybe we could just simply empower the communications subcommittee, if Sarah's okay with that, to run with it and publish it and trust their good judgment on it, so that way we don't necessarily have to all spend time tonight, given that we also have a sort of a 6:30 hard deadline. But if there are things that we want to talk about now, we should also do that. Certainly, if people who aren't on communications want to get certain ideas or thoughts out to put onto the FAQ.
I got your edits today, Dan. I'll include those in the next draft.
Okay.
Nothing specific on my side. It was, I think it was very comprehensive. It covered a number of topics, and the information was consistent with what was published in the past. So I think it's always a good thing.
I do also think we should probably just run the final thing by Keith, Susan, and Joni, just to ensure consistency with what, as far as implementing of different pieces of it and stuff like that. If that makes sense, once communications is sort of has a final draft. So I guess at this time then I will entertain a motion to sort of authorize the communication subcommittee to finalize the FAQs and circulate them and then publish them.
Moved by Dawn.
Second by Hillary.
Okay. Wait, I just saw Cynthia, so I'll just, before we can now have some discussion about it, I just want to update Cynthia before we move forward, see if she has anything she wants to add. So Cynthia, we were just—
Sorry, what was that? I'm sorry.
We were just discussing the FAQs, and I had supplied some changes to Hillary.
Oh.
It seemed like, did you have anything you wanted to add? Because what we have right now on the table, on the floor, is a motion to basically authorize the communication subcommittee to sort of finalize them, run them by the administration to ensure that they meet the administration's views on things, or not views on but understanding of how things will go. But did you have any sort of changes or thoughts you wanted to add before communication sort of takes over?
I mean, yes and no. That's right. It can circle back to me. We'll just approve it, and if we have to add, we can add things to it if we want to.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can also send notes to—
I'll just send, yeah. I just had a couple things that I was talking to someone yesterday, and it was just new thoughts of things to add, and I didn't want to spring that on anybody now. So I don't want to hold up our process. So let's just get it out there, and then as we have more information, we can just update it.
Okay. Just because this motion isn't to approve the FAQ, it's to approve communications finalizing.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll take a roll call. Joe?
Yes.
Hillary?
Yes.
Dawn?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
And Cynthia?
Yes.
I know, and I am a yes as well. Okay, so moving back up to the agenda, we finished the consent agenda piece. The initial reason for having this meeting, obviously, is vote on the appointment of Dr. David Jordan as Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations. Does anyone want to have any discussion about this, or should we just move to a motion? Any thoughts?
I think there's been a lot of, consistent feedback early on when the news came out. It has slowed down since. A lot of mixed feedback. I think, I do applaud the committee that did interview all of the candidates that came in. It was important that we looked at a plethora of varying experiences. It is a challenging environment out there for this role. And thus, I do believe at this point, Dr. Jordan is the best candidate to fill.
I think at the last school committee meeting, we heard a lot from Dr. Kuska and Mr. Bidet around the hiring process that they have gone through and the qualifications that they see in Dr. Jordan, as well as the interview that we had during the school committee meeting. I don't have anything to add.
And I would concur. I think Dr. Jordan did a good job at the interview. I think he will. I think he's a good candidate, and I look forward to working with him. And I'm glad that we have Keith on board for a little while anyway, to assist with the transition. But to be honest, I think that unless we had found somebody with 20 plus years of experience, we were going to need Keith to assist with the transition for anybody. So this is not even a Dr. Jordan specific thing. It's when you have somebody in a role for 25 years,
Right.
It's going to be a difficult transition regardless. Not difficult. I don't mean difficult transition, but it is going to be. There's a lot of information that Keith has in his head that he's going to have to download for whoever was going to take that job. So, Dr. Koska, do you have anything you sort of want to add?
No, certainly Keith and I have both talked with Dr. Jordan, and we feel he's ready for the appointment, and we're going to be meeting pending this final vote early next week to talk about the transition timeline and process.
Okay. Keith or Joni? Okay. So with that, unless there's something where we can still even talk afterwards, but I will entertain a motion to appoint Dr. David Jordan as the new Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations, pending contract negotiation.
Moved by Cynthia.
Seconded.
Second by Frank. Okay. That requires a roll call vote. Joe,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
and I, Dan, am a yes. So congratulations to Dr. Jordan, and look forward to working with you. Moving on, the network specialist job description. Susan, did you want to discuss that?
Yes, so Ian McLeod had approached me. We've had some changes in this department and also changes over the years through how we deal with our technology. And as you know, the network system has changed. All of our switches, all of our the way we access technology has completely changed. And a lot of the work that we used to have to do in person manually at the computer station is now done remotely. And because of that, we have 2 people in district that are already well ready to take on additional duties. So we are changing the network admin job and reorganizing the department. So this network specialist job will have 2 equal people in that job doing technology specialist and network specialist. And then we're hiring 2 new technology specialists as well. So we'll still have the same team of 4 within the same salary ranges. It's just really to make sure that we're meeting the needs of today's computer system and how we access technology in the district. And we're confident we have 2 very skilled people in the role, moving into this role already. So we feel like this is a really good way to make to plan ahead for our future.
Okay. And so you're looking for a vote to approve the job description?
Yes, please.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about the job description or about the role, anything related to it? Going once, going twice. Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the job description for the position of network specialist.
So moved.
Okay. So a second.
Second by Dawn.
All right. Joe,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Dan, yes. All right. I skipped over communications. Is there any individual comment?
No.
And there's no public on the Zoom, so I assume there's no public comment. It's not on here, but since the administration is also public, the public part of the public, if they do have anything they want to say, I apologize for cutting them off.
I don't have any.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say before we move further on, when you had talked about the FAQs and that you wanted administration to look at those, I didn't see those in the folder. So if somebody could share those with Keith and Joni and I will take a look at those when you'd like some input.
Yeah, I think that there was just some work that needs to be done on them. So I think once the communication subcommittee kind of has a more finalized final draft, rather than bring you in before things are finalized, just so that you can look at the final issue product. Yeah.
No problem. I just wasn't sure if you thought I had them already.
Yeah, it's more just to make sure that we're being accurate with all of our statements and consistent. So, Keith or Joni, anything?
Just one thing, the skylight project at the elementary complex is done. The Miller Playground project is probably, I would guess, maybe about 50% done. The playground mulch has been put down. They've cleaned out all the old stuff. They've put a base layer down, and now they just have to pour. So that's moving along. And as I'm sure as you drive down Hollis Street, you can see our lovely beige walls. So better than green. So.
The green was growing on me actually, but I think I might have been the only one.
I can
Is
see
the
if they
last
can.
wall done?
I'm sorry.
Is the last wall done? Because there was still green at the carnival, I remember.
Yes. No, it's not done yet. I'm saying that's what they're on now. They're on that
Gotcha.
final section. So.
And any update on the playgrounds?
The other two playgrounds, again, we're waiting for the contractor to give us a schedule. So I mean, it's moving forward. It's just, they need to have the elements, that's the word I'm looking for, the elements that they put into place that we've selected to put into place, they're available. Right now it's getting them here, I guess here too, getting them here and available to them, and getting them to have an install schedule, so.
Yeah, but James felt confident that they were going to meet our timeline, that they knew that this was a summer project that we wanted done before school. So we'll update you once we hear anything further, but that was James's last communication to me a few days ago.
Okay. All right. Moving on to our last agenda item before we get into executive session is the schedule for fiscal year 24-25. The only, just two things I have asked Dr. Kuska just to kind of have it put on there, a discussion or an update just for the first meeting as a sort of a follow-up to the December rankings and rigor presentation that the administration did. Not so much to update us on the data and any new data, but just to have kind of a further conversation about different action steps that we may be able to take in that regard, as well as if we do have any new data. I don't know if I think I heard AP scores might have been out, so just anything that you could update us on would be great. But also at the same time, this is not like a huge detailed report like last time. I'm not looking for people to spend hours on it.
Yes, I'll pull any slides that we might have updates. And are you okay with me removing the old slide? Or you just want me to take the deck and leave it as is and just add any new information?
I don't know, does anyone have an opinion? I think maybe adding or changing the slides where we have updated information, just highlighting those are changed.
Sure.
How's that sound?
Yep, that sounds good.
So the only other thing I would add is that obviously between Thursday the 22nd and September 12th, August 22nd and September 12th, obviously there's the override vote on September 10th. So we may need to add an ad hoc meeting in there if there's a need arises or something. I think we just need to be flexible in that period if possible. But also I think that from an administration perspective, I'm not sure that if you can't make it, it would be more of a school committee member type thing. Just so I'm not trying to waste too much of your time or ensure that that you have to stay late on those days. But if you can just sort of keep that in the back of their heads. So any other questions about the calendar? Okay. With that, I will entertain a motion then to approve the calendar as amended, just to adding the presentation or discussion on rigor as presented in your packet for 24-25.
Moved by Sarah. Second by Dawn.
Okay, requires a roll call vote. Joe?
Yes.
Hillary?
Yes.
Dawn?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Dan, I'm a yes. So we have now a calendar scheduled to go off of. Okay, so our next official meeting, and hopefully this will be their next meeting, is August 22nd. As a reminder, school, the first day for teachers is August 26th, and the first day for students, which is a half day, is August 27th, and that's for first grade and up, right? The kindergartners start a day or two later. So this will be right before the start of school. We should go into executive session at least briefly before we have our information session. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session from which we'll now return to conduct strategy in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. So then this is for the Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations, Dr. Jordan.
Moved by Dawn.
Seconded by Cynthia.
All right, this requires a roll call vote. Joe?
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Cynthia.
Yes.
I am a yes as well.
Where is
So,
that link, Dan?
where's the link?
Yes.
No, we're gonna stay right here.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you said there was
We're gonna
another.
stay right here. We're gonna, Bruce, we are adjourned.